becoming one of Britain's highest scoring aces.
From Air Vice Marshal Keith Park. The group commander appreciates the offensive spirit that carried 2 Polish pilots over the French coast in pursuit of the enemy today. This practice is not economical or so sound now that there is such good shooting within sight of London.
Ooh.
I'm killing Germans.
Many excellent pilots have died due to lack of discipline. Do you want to become one of them?
I fly alone.
In a unique compromise, it was agreed. From now on, František could leave formation to hunt alone. In just 6 days fighting, 303 shot down 24 enemy aircraft without the loss of a single pilot.
We were one fighting family. Together we dreamed of a brighter tomorrow, when after the war, we would return to our motherland.
As the battle entered a bloody new phase, the Poles would be at the heart of the defense of Britain.
In this historic battle, the mightiest air force, after the British, is the Polish Air Force. Every day we are winning against the Germans.
In just 1 week, the Poles of 303 had overturned British prejudice and proved their fighting spirit. On the afternoon of September the 7th, they shot down 16 enemy aircraft in less than 15 minutes. It was a record unbeaten by any other RAF squadron.
Gentlemen, be vigilant and careful to preserve your lives. Poland will need you at the end of this war.
That same day, the German war machine unleashed its fury on a new target, London.
Millions of firebombs rained down on the great city of London.
Hitler's planned invasion was imminent. In preparation, the Luftwaffe attempted to smash the spirit of the British people. As he flew over the capital, 303's Canadian captain John Kent witnessed the aftermath of the first day of the Blitz.
I could see the fires that the Luftwaffe had started on this, the first raid on London. I had not realized that I could feel so deeply. But at that moment, I would have butchered any German I could lay my hands on. I was beginning to understand the attitude of the Poles.
They're very much like us. We found that apart from the language and the national differences, that we thought and they thought more or less on the same lines, which was kill the Hun.
But not everyone believed a handful of ill-disciplined Poles could be shooting down so many Germans. Chief skeptic was their own group captain, Stanley Vincent.
Treat these claims with a lot of reserve.
Sir?
I want you to go through them with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes, sir.
But Vincent didn't wait for the intelligence officer's report. When the Poles took off on the 11th of September, Vincent went on his very own spying mission.
He followed the 303 going into action, and he kept his distance and wanted to see how they do. He wanted to find out for himself.
He didn't have to wait long.
Bandits, 3 o'clock!
A veteran of the First World War, Vincent had never seen flying like this. The
Poles had jumped in on the scattered individuals, and suddenly the air was full of burning aircraft, parachutes and pieces of disintegrating wings. It was all so rapid, it was staggering.
The British trained pilots to fire from around 400 yards. The more experienced Poles were able to fly to within 100 yards before they opened fire. The effect was devastating.
I think anybody who was keen, and they were, and some of us were keener than others, was the closer you got in, the better. A bomber aeroplane is quite a large target when you get that close.
Every time Vincent tried to get a German in his sights, a Pole dived in front of him and shot down his target. Vincent was transformed, from skeptic to believer.
I told Wilkins that what they claimed they did indeed get.
Any luck, sir? My God, they're doing it. Sir?
Scramble!
The success of 303 Polish Squadron was becoming a powerful weapon of British propaganda.
Squadron leader Urbanovic is watching his boys getting into formation. It'll be known within an hour or so whether a German plane has been shot down, or maybe 2 or 3 or even more Germans. Good luck.
But news of the success of the exiled airmen was most powerful back home.
I was only 14, but I wanted to join the Polish Air Force. Unfortunately, I was arrested in June 1943, and after interrogation by Gestapo, I was sent to Auschwitz concentration camp and spent the rest of my war in the Auschwitz concentration camp. So my aviation dreams were shattered in that sense.
303's success in the defence of Britain had turned Polish pilots into what one paper called the glamour boys of England.
There was a sort of aura of romance about Poles.
A policeman was standing by the car.
He wanted to know why the car was left in the street without its lights on.
At first they didn't know what to make of us, but once we had a better grasp of English, the social life improved.
Would you leave a car like this outside a cinema in Poland?
No, we said, in Poland we ride to the cinema on horses.
They all had the finest reputation. Bowing and the kissing of hands, which I mean was completely unknown to some English people. It seemed over the top, and it also seemed if they did that sort of thing, could they be trusted?
My name is Jan Zombak.
The girls were nice and friendly, and so were their mothers.
Would you like to dance?
And fathers, well, fathers were absent, most of them.
I'm not surprised that the English girl went after the Polish boys. Rather, Polish men, they like to show off.
She put a record on and clung even tighter than she had on the dance floor. 5 minutes later, we came up for air and she withdrew into the bathroom.
Zumbak discovered it wasn't just the pilots of 303 keeping a diary of their exploits.
Even my limited English vocabulary was equal to this kind of subject matter, especially with the clues provided by the names of several members of my squadron. She had awarded them high marks in contrast to her rather disparaging assessment of her own countrymen. By my rapid reckoning, her survey was based on a sample of approximately 30.
Zumbak did not reveal the marks awarded to number 31. The British believed Hitler's planned invasion was just days away. On the 15th September, the Luftwaffe launched what it intended to be a final knockout blow to destroy London and Britain's morale. This day would decide the fate of Britain and stretch every pilot to breaking point. A 400-strong enemy armada crossed the Channel. At 11:15, the Poles were scrambled and thrown into battle.
I had shot down a Dornier, then had to hide in the clouds with a bunch of Messerschmitts in hot pursuit.
Even for experienced pilots like Zumbach, the stress of 2 weeks' combat had taken its toll.
For the first time in my life, I was really afraid.
The fear makes everybody cautious. So a degree of fear is a good thing. The important thing is to overcome the fear. And naturally, longer you fly, that process of initial fear, of overcoming the fear, wears you out. Everybody was afraid at one time or another. You don't know what the hell is going to happen, where are you going, and how the other side will react.
Seconds seem to pass like minutes. You live in a kaleidoscope of rage and icy detachment, continually alternating fits of attack and escape, now freezing, now sweating. Then, suddenly you emerge with a shock of surprise into a peaceful sky, as if you died and been reborn into another world.
You black out if you're in a turn. It's dangerous, because it's the time when you're blacking out, you can't see, you don't know who is behind you.